Hello and welcome to Brimwood Farm. It is a beautiful day here, so I thought we would take a little ornamental flower bed tour. So it's about 26 degrees here and it's really muggy, but the plants are loving it, especially when I'm watering them in the evening and then they get the full day of sun. So I'm going to show you the ornamental flowers. First, I'm going to show you an ornamental chicken. Now she's actually over in this corner. She comes out every single day and finds a new hidey hole. There she is. What are you up to today, Miracle? I think she might be laying an egg. So there we go, there's the ornamental chicken. But back to the tour. So, these are my ornamental beds here and here. Unfortunately, when you step outside the back door, we have a flagpole, which kind of impedes the view a little bit. But I've got this magnolia growing up there just for now. And I've also hung a pot on. Sometimes I have some viney stuff in there just to kind of hide it a bit. It is rather annoying, especially as in this patch would be the obvious place for a seating set, a patio set, but then there's this thing, and we could cut it off, but we just haven't got around to it. So this is the first bed. It's a full sun bed, so it gets a hell of a lot of sun throughout the entire day, because the sun rises over there and comes all the way around, and then the evening light comes down this way. So it gets a lot of sun. And it's mostly planted up with these beautiful grasses. I never bought any of these grasses. I think I had one grass that was maybe in the front garden at one point, and it seeded itself, and I've just kind of planted them through. So we've got these grasses, got these lovely osteospermums. These are just a really base variety. They're probably as near to the original Cape Daisy as you can get. You know, they haven't got pretty leaves or cut leaves, they haven't got bright colours, but I really like them, and they're nice and simple and they fit in with the scheme well. Now if you watched any of the small holding diaries, you'll have seen this section that I was talking about, which was a complete accident where the verbena bonariensis, which is this, self-seeded itself into the gravel. And obviously we've got the grass coming through it, and I actually really like it. I would normally put the verbena towards the back because it is quite tall, but the way it's coming through, it looks like waves of grass, and I think it's really pretty, and it kind of moves about in the breeze a bit and does what it's supposed to do. Verbena bonariensis is also really good for bees, and it attracts a lot of bees and butterflies. However, it's also real estate for spiders, and you can see that this crab spider got lucky today and captured a honeybee. So perhaps that bee wasn't as lucky as it thought it was going to be when it found this verbena. Hopefully it didn't go back to the hive and tell all of its mates where the nectar was, because otherwise they'll all be on the way and this spider might get a few more. Amongst this bed we've also got verbena bampton here. We've got cosmos. This is Apollo white. Now it is kind of hidden in the grass at the moment, but the more I deadhead this, actually this one can do with coming off. The more I deadhead that, the more it will grow up, and again it will come through. We've got a rogue bells of Ireland just here, and then the Helios sunflowers are starting to come out as well. So they're looking rather fabulous. Just the one at the moment, but this one you can see is about to come out, and then there's a couple more over there, and then I put some more in this bed as well to kind of so that the spread of sunflowers is across. Over in the back corner we've got a nice darker phormium to cause some contrast, and that is an echium there. I'm still waiting for it to do its thing. It's self-sown. It's self-sown last year, so it should be flowering this year, but sometimes they take till the third year to flower, so it might not flower till next year. And then there's just some sedum herbsphoroid in here, which was originally throughout this bed, but kind of the other plants have taken over. Oh, and there's an angelica down here as well, but that hasn't yet flowered. So that's this bed. And then we've got the couple of alpine troughs here, which are doing really, really well. You can see that these are starting to flower. And then the thyme is amazing. Now I don't know why, but blue bottles or green bottle flies seem to love thyme, and they are constantly here. You can see them constantly on this thyme. Don't know what it is about it, but they love it. And then this bed is a shady bed, so it's a bit different than this full sun bed, but I've planted some of the similar plants between the two to kind of join them together. So like I said with the sunflowers, I put sunflowers in this bed and this bed to kind of tie them across. And then we've got the nicotiana as well. Again, in the daytime it doesn't look much, but it comes out in the evenings to these bright star white flowers, but it kind of ties the two borders together. So mostly what we've got in here, we've got a lovely white rose. It's just starting to come out. I like these single cupped roses because they're more friendly for wildlife. The pollinators can get right into the nectar. We've got salvia. We've got this lovely little chocolate coloured geranium. There are some more sunflowers in here, although I've just noticed this sunflower has been stamped on. Now this is not a total failure. What you can do is you can straighten this out. So if you've ever bought an orchid, you will have seen the spikes you get with an orchid and the little bands that go around. If you put an orchid spike on that and prop it up, because this hasn't completely rotted off, it should straighten up. In fact, I did it with one of the sunflowers over here. So these are the spikes you normally get with your orchids, and I literally, this was bent over and I used one of the clips around here and it's absolutely fine. So you can rectify that. So don't be too quick to pull it up. If I straighten that out in a minute, I can probably save that sunflower. There's this beautiful black elderberry, and then I've taken lots of these penstemmen cuttings. So the idea is I want to have these purple penstemens throughout this border. The sweet peas are starting to come out, although I've got a slight issue with mildew, as you can see. So this is Jeff Hughes. They kind of took off and now they've stopped. I think it's because they've maybe dried out too much, so I need to put some more water on them. And then coming down here, we've got more sweet peas with obviously the continuing issue. Another penstemmen hasn't flowered here. I put some of these marigolds in to give some bright contrasting colours. Now these were, I think this is citrus, and you can see it's citrus, but then I had another one called Snow White, and the flowers really haven't been Snow White at all. And then, hello chickens. You making all that noise? I know. And then we're just down to these sweet peas that are doing well. So again, we've got Jeff Hughes, and then Arthur Hellier is starting to really take off and do what I wanted it to do, up into the rafters. And then down here we got some heucheras, and there's a lovely euphorbia there, more penstemmen, and then again citrus marigold. So I like to use a lot of plants that are the same, but space them along a border to kind of pull that border together. So that's the quick tour of the ornamental beds. I like the way the grasses ruffle in the winter, in the wind. We have got there's a stipa. You can see behind this grass, you can see these other flower seed shapes, and this is stipa Goldilocks. It's a smaller stipa, so it's really good for smaller urban gardens where you haven't got the space of the massive stipas. So this is its third year, and it's just quite small at the base, you can see, but then it comes up with these lovely little seed and flower heads that sort of dance in the wind, which is very nice. So that's a quick tour of the ornamental beds, and probably in a few weeks we'll do a tour of the veggies as well, so I can show you what's going on right down the bottom of the garden. For the rest of the day I'm just going to chill out and potter around and enjoy being outside. It is very hot, it's very muggy, we need some rain, so I'm probably going to be doing some watering as well. If you've got any questions about any of the plants that I've just shown you, please ask in the comments. If you've enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you all again soon. Bye.